and welcome to another Bangertorial. And this time I'm rather concerned about built-in obsolescence, things becoming obsolete. I'm probably obsolete right now and completely pointless person. But I've looked at a lot of things recently. A lot of things have failed. So there's what would seem to be a perfectly good camera, and it doesn't work at all. No light comes home. Nobody's there. So that's a bit of a shame. That's got to be thrown away. But I don't throw these away. I put them on display on a shelf because I quite like the look of them. So I'm very odd. I think they're quite nice objet d'art. So I'll do that. I thought I'd have another camera. We've got loads of these. Oh, there we go. Blackberries. Remember Blackberries? These are quite interesting in that nobody wants them anymore. They used to be quite useful if you had email addresses, more than one, because you could get loads of messages and do things like that, but nobody wants them. You can sort of use them as MP3 players if you want to make the most of it, but apart from that, nobody wants that. And actually, got another one here as well. And I don't know what to do with that. So maybe I should just become a prop hire firm for outdated technology, but that doesn't work. And rather worryingly, this doesn't work either, which is a tape recording machine. And the light comes on, but there's nobody home, nothing goes round. I might take it to bits, but I can't see the point anymore. It uses cassettes, and these days we use our phones. There you go, kids, cassettes. That's what we used to record things on, and don't anymore. So that's another thing. I was going to do something spectacular, like drive over it or set it alight or blow it up, but I don't really like these, as I say, as objet d'art to hang around. But it's what sort of frightens me a tiny bit about everything becoming outdated, outmoded, useless, and only fit for the bin. It just seems such a terrible waste that, you know, a chip goes wrong or something, you drop it and it doesn't work anymore. You can't take it apart and repair it. There's nothing to repair really. And it goes back to some rather good books. There's a chap called Vance Packard, an American chap. And this one is called The Hidden Persuaders, which was revolutionary at the time. I think it was published in 1957, which tells us that we're all being sort of lied to, and advertising, don't trust it, and this is how they do clever things. So he was way ahead of the game. But probably the best one is The Waste Makers. If you can ever find that, it's fantastic. I think it's 1962 or 3. I can't remember what time this first came out. 1960. That was a good year. I may have been born on that year. Fantastic year. Wastemakers, built-in obsolescence, where he sort of explained that the car manufacturers wanted you to have next year's model. Immediately they'd change things, put a bit of chrome on it, just change it a tiny bit, so that you had to go out and buy another one if you wanted to be ahead of the Joneses next door. And so we have the basis of Bangernomics sort of here, really, where you sort of see through what their game is, because with most cars, like the car I'm in, you can take to bits and put it back together again, and especially with minis, there's an amazing number of parts still available that you can still get, and people remake parts that are always made fantastically. I had a starter motor that didn't last very long, so that was a shame. But I think that's what worries me about modern cars, and electric cars in particular, is that there's plenty that makes them obsolete. But the problem is we live in a PCP culture. People only want a car that lasts 3 years, because at the end of it they'll go and get another one, another shiny one, which would, I presume, Vance Packard would be extremely upset about. But I think that's what we're all being conditioned into doing. So well done to some of us who keep cars going. And oddly enough, the other day I were for some time now watches. Here we got fantastic quartz watches from the 1980s. This one got me through the 1980s, so I never missed an appointment, a deal, or anything. This one belonged to my dad, so we had yin and yang, fantastically flat quartz watches. These have been back to Seiko, and they can't replace them. They can't even put a more modern movement in or anything. And so, again, what am I going to do? I want to stick these in a frame, maybe, or something. I don't know. I'll turn them into cufflinks. So there you go. There's a cufflink there. And actually, there's another 1980s Seiko that I've got, which, who knows, that's on borrowed time now. It probably may not last till the end of this video, which I quite like. I used to have a boring brown strap, but I put a NATO one, orange NATO one, which the woman in the shop thought I was mad to do, but I think it funks it up quite nicely. But yeah, so there you go. These, because they're Seikos, they lasted a very long time, but you know, now they're useless. You know, they're just ornaments, and I find it such a shame when beautiful things can't be used anymore. And I think the same is with cars. And I worry that one day what they're going to do is say, you can't have your old cars anymore, or if you do, you have to go to the track, and it's going to mean that for a lot of people, getting around is going to be more difficult. So that's it, obsolescence. It comes to us all. Sometimes people call it other things, but I just think it's a shame. If you know where I could get these fixed, that'd be great. But Seiko said no. But otherwise, no. Let's try and keep cars going. Let's try and keep it going as much as possible. Having a throwaway society is a very wasteful thing. So let's all stick with the Bangernomics creed and keep everything that we can on the road. Thank you very much for watching.